News. What is it?
We do not have any reports of fatalities yet, but we believe that the death toll may be in the hundreds of millions.
Can you hold it in your hand?
Beaverton has only a population of about 8,000, Tom, so this would be quite devastating.
Is it flammable?
Here's Brian Fantana on why everyone who is someone is lining up to smoke crack.
How many calories are in one serving?
And we welcome you, James Brown. How did all of this trouble begin?
Living in America.
If you're truly being objective, can news really be bad?
No, we haven't actually seen it, Tom. We're just reporting it.
If you cut the news, does it not bleed?
Been spotted in the water here in Blackrock and Salt Hill both today and yesterday.
In these trying times, being informed as possible might be the best way to arm yourself against any enemy.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
How can you truly make a moral decision without being well informed?
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
In a world filled with good news and bad news, somewhere you'll find me, SAMMY3PEAT, in other news. Yes, and welcome back. It is episode 2 of In Other News. I'm SAMMY3PEAT. We're here to give you the news. I have my expert panelists with me today. My first panelist, our first expert on everything that has to do with being a pirate, my buddy Leon. Leon, how are you today?
Well, I'm actually caught off guard as I just realized I don't have Honda with me, therefore I feel naked. But I am very here and happy to be an expert on all things pirate. Just in fact, one thing that people don't know is a pirate's favorite letter is not actually R, but is C. So
is the
now
C.
you all know. I will return. I'm going to grab my bird.
Yes, please do. Our next expert,
phrasing
friend of mine, Gord King, expert on puns. How are you, Your Majesty?
I'm good. I also like me a good C.
Good to know. And last but not least, friend of the channel, Stu Penzo. How are you? Thank you for coming on today. Expert on, I don't know, all things that are strange.
Yeah, glad to be here. Feel like this is my true calling right here, to be your Steve Carell in the Anchorman cast.
I'll keep that.
Oh, I call Paul Rudd.
Okay. You can have it.
I call Paul Rudd sometimes too, but he doesn't pick up.
Yeah, he's never around when you need him. Oh, wait. And now we have something else going on. We have some.
Is our diversity?
Breaking news. Hondo is here.
Oh my god.
Expert on being a bird.
What do you think about that, buddy? Do you have thoughts? No? He's a bird of few words. He practices stoicism, and it's frankly it's quite comforting to know that in a world devoid of masculinity, my bird adheres to stoicism.
All right. Now that we've gotten all of these little introductions out of the way, what do you say we break into some news? Let's start the news off today with the fact that people in New York have no problem killing beloved pets.
Cover your ears, Hondo.
Shame.
Pretty rough.
Media star Peanut the squirrel has been euthanized after being seized from an NY home.
See, I don't know if I agree with the term euthanized. I mean, 7 years old. That's pretty old for a squirrel. I don't know if I put youth in there.
I don't know. Do we have any squirrel experts on the panel? Can we get the average life cycle of a squirrel? Does anyone in the chat know?
Typically 5 to 10 years in the wild.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They can live up to 20 years in captivity.
See, so he was middle-aged at best. He had a long life ahead of him. And speaking of squirrel experts, if you need, we can get my sister on the phone. She, in fact, was a squirrel expert. She had this odd ability to get squirrels to come to her in the wild. Like she would get down and make noises and they would come. I've seen her do it multiple times as if she was a real-life Disney princess.
Squirrel girl.
I think he was destined for the high end of life. I mean, his owner was named Paul Longo. I mean, he had it in the bag. He was good.
I mean, yeah, he was a
Mark Longo,
most squirrels in New York live in dumpsters and parks, and this one was living in a penthouse somewhere, a condo.
I'll tell you this though, the one thing that genuinely irks me is, okay, so we all know that this one reeks of, this is like the second Harambe story, basically. This is what everyone's like, oh, this is the Harambe thing all over again.
Yeah, but this one's a bit nuttier.
Exactly. Well, this is what bugs me. Is so when he was killed, what did everyone say? Dicks out for Harambe. And I'm like, why are you all not saying nuts out for Peanut? What the heck?
Right. Well, also Fred, the raccoon, was also killed. We can't forget him.
I feel like that one's not being addressed as much because the left hates coons. So,
well, it's also, like that's the thing is like I'm seeing a lot of environmentalist friends of mine, hippie friends, who are like, just because they're they can't disagree with their side. They can't admit it's bad. I'm hearing people saying, well, if only this person had been a licensed rehabilitationist or given the squirrel to an actual licensed rehabilitationist, this would have been avoided. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, it was like, please inform me on how you could.
He managed to keep the squirrel alive for 7 years. I say somebody with no formal environmental training did pretty damn good. In fact, he probably would have kept him alive for maybe another 7 to 13 years had the government not illegally entered his home and murdered his pets.
Yeah,
also,
if only we had like some amendments that stop them from doing this. Yeah, I think that'd be a rather important one.
I mean, the amount of red tape they put up to make this kind of stuff possible for them to raid homes and kill animals, it's unbelievable. Who wants to sift through all that nonsense?
There's so many levels of like who is responsible, because you got someone who apparently ratted the squirrel out. And then,
careful with that terminology there. I feel like that's kind of disrespectful.
Right. But then you've also got, the people who accept the call, who investigate the call. I mean, what are these SWAT guys thinking when they're like, kicking in doors for a squirrel? Like, are they seriously like on board with this, or are they?
Okay,
like,
not to make light of the situation, but SWAT is a great name for an extermination company. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's one thing is, one of the memes that I was just hoping would pop up in the midst of all this is the one of Hans Landa, and they've twisted it to him. It's like, you're sheltering squirrels, or you're not. And I'm like, the more obvious one you could use is he actually gives a whole speech about rats and squirrels and whatnot. Yeah. And I'm like, granted, it proved wrong because
he was quite fond of squirrels.
He was like, you probably wouldn't treat a squirrel with the same amount of disdain that you do a rat. And I'm like, in New York, you'd be wrong.
So yeah, these cops are worse than Nazis.
I do like that. The squirrel didn't go down without a fight. He bit one of the investigators, which kind of perpetuates well, it could have been rabid. And from what I've read, squirrels generally don't carry rabies. So it's just kind of an asinine thing.
Been living in someone's home for 7 years. To put this in perspective, this squirrel went down with more of a fight than Chris Chan did.
It's an excuse to kill the squirrel. Once the squirrel bites, it's like, all right, now that's all we need. Let's take the squirrel.
Did the raccoon bite? Did Fred bite?
I don't know. I doubt it. Well, raccoons are natural, vectors of rabies, but still.
Raccoons are bitch, dude. I grew up with this chick named Cassie. She was cool as fuck, and her parents had an albino raccoon as a pet, and it was really cool. But it was a mean son of a bitch.
Imagine a cat and give him hands.
I had a friend.
Imagine the kind of trouble a raccoon could get into.
I had a friend in 6th grade, and we had a field in front of our middle school, and most people wouldn't cut through that. It was like they barely ever mowed it or anything like that, so the grass was pretty tall. But he was a tall guy, so he would just walk through it going into school. He came in one day and he had all these just like horrible looking scratches like all over his face and his arms and stuff like that. And we're like, dude, what the heck happened to you? And he had startled a raccoon that was just kind of living there during the day, and it had jumped up and attacked him, and he had to get all kinds of like rabies shots and all that. And I'm like, dang, man, like it like went hardcore on him. And I was like, he's a big guy. I mean, at 6th grade, he was about 6'1", and pretty broad, and he just came in like he had just been fighting
Did the
Tyson.
raccoon want his arm?
The raccoon beat the crap out of him. It wasn't even a contest. But raccoons don't mess around.
Squirrel who boasted 534,000 followers on Instagram. So very well known, beloved pet. I do feel like what was the raccoon's name? He's not getting enough shine on this. What was his name?
Fred
the raccoon. R.I.P.
Yeah, like the best character from Scooby Doo, Fred.
Chat. I know we can't do anything. We can't do like we did tits out for Harambe or dicks out for Harambe, but we could put some F's in the chat for Peanut and Frank.
I mean, I honestly think it's because the channel was big. He's getting a lot of income, and I was saying this on I don't know, somewhere. I was like, if they can't tax you for it or get a cut of it, they're just gonna make sure you can't get that money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and what I'm wondering is, so he had made this statement, this post statement saying that we're not political. This is a problem. This, that. As of today, they posted he's meeting with Donald Trump, the owner.
Oh,
Trump
How
seasoned these
amazing
nuts.
would it be? Like 2 assassination attempts on Trump, media buries. 2 days before the election, government kills a squirrel, and that gets Trump elected. This squirrel might be the most important piece of American politics when we look back on the history books in 50 years.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's from New York, and I'm sure everyone with a decent mindset is like, what the hell? Even if the squirrel needed to get killed for whatever reason, like, why are we
Squirrels never need to get killed, and
Right.
so wipe that from your mouth.
I'm just saying, like, even if that is the case, like, why are we justifying like 50 federal agents and kicking doors in and spending 5 hours like ransacking this dude's apartment? Like, it seems more like something else was going on. And I don't know
what the media is lying to us about is the squirrel was actually selling cocaine from that penthouse, and it's really that's why the DEA showed up. Fred was running, but Fred was a raccoon, but really he was a mule.
He was a
Peanut
psyop.
was the most, one of the most notorious drug dealers in all of.
Yeah, Peanut was actually his street name.
Those little things can store a lot in those cheeks.
Yeah. Right. Turns out Peanut had a beeper and it didn't go off, so they had to take him down manually. Unfortunately,
Zach says, I think Frank set the whole thing up and it backfired. He was born wearing a mask. He wanted to
Is that, well, I mean, this is coming from Zach, whose emblem is a mask. He would know. I mean, he might know. So, getting a little insight, I guess.
Is Zach's our guy, like our actual guy on the street reporter for this news show?
He is. He's our.
Let me tell you about these raccoons there.
Good. Come here. What do you know about raccoons? Well, we are getting to the 15th of the hour, so that means Leon.
Yes.
It's time for
Hello.
sports.
Time for sports. Yeah, sports. Time for sports. Yeah, sports.
What do we got? What's going on in the sports world today? Remember, this is fake.
Swimming.
So yeah, no. In the world of sports, it's actually pretty amazing. They have announced that LeBron James is in fact voting and putting his endorsement behind Kamala Harris. In other breaking news, Kobe Bryant will probably also be voting for Kamala Harris.
Yay! He did it.
I did do it. Then we also have the Ping Pong International Championship this past weekend, and as one would think, the Asian team is a clean sweep. However, there is a cheating scandal up front. It looks like the North Korean team may have been using illegally weighted ping pong balls. Now, it is up to the ping pong commissioners to run their investigation and make sure there was no foul play afoot. But I mean, this is Kim Jong-un we're talking about, and if they're going to have any chance to bring home gold, even those little medals will be fantastic resources for to keep from their people. Back to you, Dan.
Well, we don't know who Dan is, but we are certainly glad that Leon is such a sports guy and that he could.
Technically, I'm Dan.
He's technically. So we're gonna move on to this one. I was perusing, and I came across this. New Zealand city waves goodbye to its disturbing giant hand sculpture that many came to love. And wait till you guys see this thing. It is something. I think I found the new mascot for the show.
I would be one of those New
God.
Zealanders that love it.
Okay.
That I'm like in love with Handman.
This face looks strikingly like David Bowie's face to anyone else.
It
A
kind of
little bit, yeah.
Like, a little bit like Alec Baldwin, a little bit like Trump, a little bit
Yeah,
like
a
it just
little-
like it just exudes masculine energy. You know, that's a man's hand,
Like
a man's hand.
He's got. I mean, you look at the finger position. It's like we know what he's doing later. I mean,
Yep.
This is a
I love
I
Chad
thought it
hand.
was kind of a Gangstein. Like,
You can see like the pose he's doing, like if he was, had legs and arms. He's got one arm on his hip and his other arm hanging free back. And he's got that like
reluctant to
inward.
Scroll down and read the story because like I just want to keep staring at this.
Exactly.
It's mesmerizing. Who would be disturbed by this? I mean,
also green eyes, that's a beautiful touch.
I could see myself like
Yeah.
flying to New Zealand to go see all that Lord of the Rings stuff, and then just hitting up here on the way and never leaving. Just be like,
Yeah.
Lord of the what? It's like,
Yep.
no. This is where the
First
ring
time-
would go. This is where the ring would go on this hand.
I'm going
This
to
is the
build
first time I've
my
ever
home
seen-
under his index finger.
Definitely feels like a New Zealand Australian thing. Like, they're enjoying this too much. Can't have the people having too much fun.
This hand. This is the first time I've ever seen a hand with.
Minnesota.
This is the first time I've ever seen a hand with big dick energy.
Yeah,
Ever.
Yeah.
he's got some moxie to him. He's got some serious attitude.
Yeah,
I'm
this
digging
face
it.
exudes confidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna download
Do
this
you
picture.
dare challenge me to a thumb war?
Like I'm picturing this hand walking into the Glenn Ross office and be like, "Fuck you! That's my name. You see this watch? This watch costs more than your goddamn car. You son of a bitch. Coffee's for closers."
Put that coffee down, you son of a bitch.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
Dorky didn't in fact say Moxie, and we have a wild Moxie in the chat. That was
We do.
well played.
And then 2 in the pink from Mrs. 3-Peat.
There you go.
Wellington.
And the one in the
Yeah,
skins would
dude.
actually be just the country of New Zealand.
Shocking. He's doing the shocker. I get it.
That's
Okay.
what, yeah, that's what that was what I meant earlier by saying we know what he's doing after.
Yeah.
In fact,
sorry,
I
my
can't-
New Zealand accent wasn't all the way up to par. Okay, sorry.
There, I'm changing. I'm on board with
Oh.
New Zealand hand now.
Two fingers on the roof of an art gallery in Wellington, New Zealand.
Yeah, is it in
The giant
Wellington?
sculpture and have a hand has loomed over the city for 5 years.
All right, line up, Kiwis.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it. Yeah, no, it just ends up sounding like it's a weird Southern accent.
It's like Australian, but a little bit more staccato, like named Causey. 60
Oh yeah. I just got to talk like I'm on Flight of the Conchords.
Or just talk like a hobbit, and that's just as good.
Yeah, I'm over it. Named Quasi, the 16-foot, almost 5 meters creation of Australia-based sculpture, Ronnie Van Hout bears an unsmiling.
I thought it was
human
Ronnie
face.
Van Hout Bears was his name. It's just Ronnie Van Hout and it bears.
It's just a name that doesn't stop. But let's see. So
To be
yeah,
fair,
they
this is more modern art than like the person that take the fucking banana to the wall. So
yeah, or I saw one the
way
other day where
better.
someone filled a bunch of buckets up with sand, and then they like cut a hole in the bottom bucket, and it just gradually made all the buckets on top like fall over. And then he like looked at the crowd, and was like,
Why can't
Yeah.
these environmental retards deface that? Of all the, I mean, you know why they don't deface modern art? Because it get mistaken for just another part of it. That's
yeah,
all.
no,
It's
exactly.
like they had another video of like some like free Palestine protest like carving up a painting right now, and I was like, why can't you do that to the banana on the wall, or just do that to yourself on your wrist?
See,
I mean,
I actually, to be fair, I'm
they're
kind of
tearing
sold
it
on
down.
this
I'm
whole
hoping
modern
it's up for
art.
sale.
I'm sold on this modern art sand bucket one you're talking about though, because like you turn around, you do this, and I just imagine him. You'll move, Anakin. Like
Yeah, no, it kind of it was. It was like, oh, you're not. Yeah, I can't see this anywhere else. buckets of sand, and it's just like, oh, wow.
I think the fact that they don't deface modern art just shows how worthless it is.
Yeah,
nothing of value would have been lost.
No one's dumping a can of Campbell's on that.
No one's crying about it anyway.
But I'm hoping they don't destroy the statue. Hopefully, like, it's up for sale, because
yes, dude, let's all pitch in. Let's do it.
Come on, chat. If we could
modern art is a way by which the people who make it can make something less valuable than themselves.
It's even worse because they all clapped at the end and was like, "Oh wow, the buckets of sand fell."
I thought you were talking about this statue. It's like, yeah, I'm sure he's very. What is the sound?
Nobody would clap when Quasi would fall. Quasi can't fall.
I'll remember where I was, but yeah, it makes me very sad. But
you realize, I mean, this statue literally it perpetually beats paper. It's amazing.
Dude. I love how the last sentence of this.
Because it's removed, though, I kind of want, in an act of defiance, him to make another one, but it's just like the other hand, and it's standing in a far more like flamboyant pose. It's like,
no, just standing on a middle finger.
There you go, dude. I mean, they're saying, oh, the name Quasi from Quasimodo. That's the male. That's why it's got the male gender attributed to it. It's like, did you see the face? Did you see the face? That was a man's face for sure.
Yeah, of course.
A manly man.
Well, I can't wait to get your guys' opinion on this next story. And I'm sure no one's surprised by this, but it is sad because it's a part of my childhood, and I'm sure it was all part of yours. But it says, Robert Zemeckis says that Roger Rabbit 2 isn't ever going to happen or never see the light of day because of Jessica Rabbit.
Okay, so I am thrilled to death to hear this. I am thrilled to death to hear that they're never going to do a sequel to this movie.
I agree. It's probably better if they don't touch it, but it was like, that's probably 100% of the reason that they're not touching is that they would have to answer for this, iconically sexy cartoon character.
Bullshit. You know what they're gonna do? They'll make her the new detective. She puts on a trench coat like she does at the theme park. She's got a hat. She's the new star. She's the one solving the mystery, and she doesn't have any sex appeal at all.
Have I ever shown you or anybody the Jessica Rabbit I have on my wall?
No.
I'm going to. Now, normally I wouldn't do this because it can get a channel shut the fuck down.
She naked?
Yes. Well, there's tassels. I have a horn.
You got to post with tassels.
Oh,
that's enough.
Okay.
I have a. There we go. It's got Bugs Bunny drooling over her and Scrooge McDuck in the background flashing his money. Like, it is. That is an original art piece. That is an original art piece that I got from some fucking artist in Florida and frankly paid way too much money for.
Was he on the beach? Just so like doing it on the street?
No, he was in Orlando. He had there's this Dragon Ball Z themed restaurant, and the guy had a partnership with them to do a bunch of Dragon Ball art, like graffiti art, and sell at the Dragon Ball Z restaurant.
By the word.
And then I was like, "Yo, your art is amazing. What else do you have?" And he's like, "Actually, I just finished this Roger Rabbit piece." I was like, "Oh, can I see it?" And he pulls this out. I was like, "This isn't Roger Rabbit at all. This is Jessica Rabbit. This is even better." He was like $400. I was like, sold.
Like, but to be honest, okay, so. All right, so Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when I was a kid, like literally this movie from like the age of like 5 till I was about 7 or 8 made me believe that if I went out west to Hollywood, there would be cartoon characters walking around. It's such an immaculate production. I think it's one of the most imaginative and fantastic movies ever made. Even if Hollywood wasn't in such a rotten place right now, even if Robert Zemeckis wasn't as low effort a director as he is now, I mean, for crying out loud, his latest movie is just like what a D student says when he hands in his homework here. That is his latest movie title, by the way. But
no,
even if like Hollywood was in a good place and Zemeckis still had it, I would not want a sequel to this because part of what makes this movie so great is the imagination behind it. Is that whole thing where you see it for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, it's humans walking amongst cartoons. Another movie just starts to kill the novelty of it. And it's one is more than enough. It's like you just need it once. You know,
Yeah,
like
But the novelty aside, like it is truly one of the very few. Because I don't give out 10 out of 10s very often. I can count on one hand how many movies I'd give a perfect 10. This is one of them. Like there's the scene where Bob Hoskins is sitting in his office and he passes out drunk, and it pans from like day to night, knowing the behind the scenes how there's a bunch of dudes scurrying around the desk that were slightly off camera, just slightly adjusting shit. It is. Even without the animation aspect, it is just a master class in filmmaking.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
this is a movie that you have to
even
love the craft to
even think about
a movie like
making a sequel to this. You know, knowing that Bob Hoskins is no longer with us, like there would be no way.
I mean, why don't we do spiritual sequels? Like I always considered Looney Tunes
I
Back in
agree,
Action
man.
kind of a spiritual sequel to Roger Rabbit, because it works it's like it's not the same characters, but it's like the same kind of premise where like the cartoons live amongst us. I mean, you can just do something similar to that. It doesn't necessarily need. What are they going to do? You're going to solve another mystery. I mean, that's the other question. Do you make it set in the 50s again, or do you try to modern day it like Nightmare Fuel, like everybody?
Wasn't one of the movies that Warner Brothers canned something along those lines?
The Roadrunner movie.
Yeah,
but I don't know if
like,
it was.
Like it was like a courtroom kind of movie. Yeah, it was along a similar vein, was it not?
I'm not sure. I know that,
and we'll never know because they shelved it. Which I'm a big Looney Tunes guy. I'm actually really glad that Enzo brought up Looney Tunes Back in Action. That movie gets so much damn hate, and I actually
it's better than Space Jam. That's for damn sure.
Oh
dude.
gosh, Space Jam's garbage.
I know.
Well, the second one's the first one. It's like it's
I didn't bother seeing
kind
the
of
second
cutesy, but
yeah,
the second one is one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life.
Oh, that goes without saying.
And I don't say that. I don't say that lightly.
We had everyone listened to the Space Jam soundtrack, and I had so many friends that loved that movie. And I remember thinking, like, the only part I laughed at was the Pulp Fiction joke, you know, when I was a kid, because I knew Pulp Fiction then. But I mean,
Space Jam's a decent movie for kids. It doesn't age
I was
particularly
a kid
well when you're
I
older.
thought it was dumb.
It's a decent movie.
I watch it as an adult, and it's great. And you need to cease your Space Jam slander. I didn't Roger Rabbit, but my God,
I did not hate Space Jam when I watched
you
it.
understand, I've been a 40-year-old man
okay.
since I was 10. All right, okay.
Yeah, it's like I didn't hate Space Jam when I watched it relatively recently. I was just like, okay. I mean, I've
had you never seen it until recently, or do you mean you just hadn't seen it in years?
Funny, no. Oddly enough, I was like, what's funny is I was a huge Michael Jordan fan growing up.
Same. Who wasn't if you grew up in our
yeah? I mean, I followed everything Michael Jordan did, and yet I did not watch Space Jam till about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is.
I was always.
Dude.
I don't know. I don't want to say I'm a contrarian, but there's been many times.
And so you're a contrarian. That's okay.
All the kids my age were doing something, and I thought it was dumb. And I was just like, no. Space Jam was one of those things. What's funny is I had it on VHS. I had the CD, you know, I had the soundtrack. The soundtrack was better than the movie.
Soundtrack is awesome. That last song where Bugs Bunny's rapping, I'm the coolest rabbit holiday. I'm like, I love it.
See, this is the hard-hitting news that people have come to expect from SAMMY3PEAT.
Well, back to the whole Robert Zemeckis thing. I think if Robert Zemeckis had just shut his mouth, nobody would be even thinking about me. I feel like now that he said this, like some producers like, we could do it. Like it's going to happen. Let's make it happen.
Well, haven't they also been trying to make to Robert Zemeckis' credit? Because I know that frankly what Gore was saying about him being a low effort director is true. He's also very protective of his IPs, and that he also said he will never let there be any Back to the Future sequels. And I'm perfect.
Yeah, that's like the one quality he has that I still very much appreciate is that he protects his IPs, and I'm like, thank you.
So
keep doing
he was saying that he's like involved in the script for Roger Rabbit 2, right? Like they have a story. It's just he thinks the producer is this like him doing like reverse psychology to get him to make Roger Rabbit 2? Like, I don't know. As far as him being low effort, like granted, some of his recent movies have been not good. I did like Beowulf. I don't like Polar Express.
I mean, it's just Beowulf and Polar Express it's been a while since those movies came out.
It's funny that this movie here is being called low effort. It seems like absolutely not low effort. It seems pretty crazy. Production wise, but also apparently they used AI to de-age the characters and did it for like way cheaper, way faster. I think the total budget of the movie was like, or at least the total budget of those special effects was like 45 million, which is like, cheap.
You did $45 million when you could have made 3 Godzilla -1s, and you did it for here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows, man? Maybe that movie might be good. I mean, it definitely has.
I'm hearing. I mean, I'm hearing it's terrible. Hearing.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But I kind of want to see it because it's like I already have some ideas for a video like a video script for it if it actually is bad. I probably wouldn't do anything to it if it's good, or just say, yeah, it's actually pretty good. But I'm hearing it's very
I know like what Lies Beneath sucked, and what other Zemeckis movies did he do recently?
What Lies Beneath, as in one of the most underrated Harrison Ford films, What Lies Beneath?
You know what it was? It was the distractingly bad CG camera. They were trying to do the panic room thing, and it just really threw me out of the movie a lot.
And so you and I are enemies now. You're over here talking shit on Space Jam. You're talking shit on What Lies Beneath.
I didn't hate What Lies Beneath, but I never felt any inclination to ever rewatch it. I watched it one time and I was like, all right.
To be fair, you do watch it for the gimmick twist of Harrison Ford's character. I mean, granted, I've watched it multiple times. I'm a filthy Harrison Ford fan, but I think What Lies Beneath gets. I don't even say gets too much hate. Nobody talks about it, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it kind of it when it arrived. I mean, it did really well. I mean, it was a pretty big hit, but then it just kind of vanished.
But yeah, I don't know. And even if like you can't do Jessica Rabbit, like the idea that you can't make a Roger Rabbit sequel without Jessica Rabbit is, I mean, obviously it's his wife.
You can't. No,
but,
I would refuse.
But yeah, I mean, that would upset people. But I mean, like I said, like why even don't do a Roger Rabbit movie, do a Toontown movie, you know? In fact, that should be the name of Roger Rabbit too, Toontown.
What if you went like
Chinatown.
really dark? What if you went like really dark and at the beginning of the movie, like somebody dips Jessica and like it's like this dark, like murder investigation.
Gordon,
like really hard noir with Roger Rabbit.
Show us on the finger statue where they touched you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're not going to include Jessica, it's like, okay, well then go really dark then. Like, go for it. Show that you've got some balls.
Jessica has been murdered, and Roger needs to avenge her death.
Yes, that's what I want. And the villain is some Karen who reports squirrels.
That's No, the villain could quite literally be like a modern day Karen movie producer. That's because all these movies nowadays suck and whatnot. Because that would go in line with the whole Toontown sort of.
Dude, I mean, Roger Rabbit is basically a loose remake of Chinatown anyway, right?
Oh yeah,
kind of. Yeah, it's in the veil.
Chinatown and one other movie.
Well, yeah, it's in the veil of a film noir, and that was definitely what they were going for.
No, but I mean the plot, like the idea of like selling the rail cars and trying to buy out all the cat. That was like a specific plot from a specific noir movie.
Oh yeah,
wasn't Chinatown.
Yeah, but there's a ton of noir stories that are very much like that. But
totally.
Yeah, no, dude. Remember me, Eddie? When I changed my gender, I talked just like this.
Yeah, that was awesome. And yeah, dude, the dip scene traumatized so many kids.
Okay.
Honestly, Chinatown, I would watch the hell out of Toontown. I would watch the hell out of it.
Oh heck yeah!
It sounds awesome. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. Jessica Rabbit's been killed. Roger Rabbit has to assemble a gang like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny, and they all got to go fucking. There we go. We're like go big or go home if you're gonna do Roger Rabbit people.
Who would you get to replace Bob Hoskins? Who's the next like sort of noir-esque detective we have?
Just kidding.
No. Yeah, and you kind of need somebody who's almost like not really a star, like somebody who's
follow me on this. Follow me, John Malkovich.
Oh my God, old John Malkovich. Yeah,
I'm not opposed to that idea at
all.
I
wouldn't be opposed to it. But gosh, he's such a great villain actor.
Yeah,
but I would be more wanting him to be like the bad guy. But him in the movie that's
Pedro Pascal. This is big shit.
Get out of here.
Just drown him in dip. I don't care that dip has no effect on human flesh. It does if you stick their head in it.
Yeah, if you hold them under long enough.
Ugh, so sick of Pedro Pascal.
We are following my friend to see who killed his wife.
Is that Malkovich?
Yeah,
that was Malkovich. That was pretty good.
Like I would almost say I think like Josh Brolin has the right kind of attitude for it, but he's almost too big a star for it. Like
also,
I kind of like the idea of not being too big a star. Yeah, Brolin would be good for it.
Dude, I think you're underestimating how absolutely massive Bob Hoskins was at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he was a
Wolverine.
star, but I mean,
he was bigger in British movies.
I mean, I don't know if I would consider him a household name. Granted, I was a kid. but I'd never heard his name once growing up.
Let's face it, it's going to be Amy Schumer.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like Bob Hoskins, you know, he was famous for doing these like violent, gritty mafia English mob movies where he was like typically a bad guy or rough guy around the edges, and then him doing an American accent and playing in a kids movie or a family movie, I should say. I mean, that was a great little pivot right there. And then he did Mario Brothers. So
well, and his girlfriend is played by one of the replicants from Blade Runner, which I didn't know that for years until I finally watched Blade Runner. I was like, where have I seen her before?
Yeah, Rose from Baby. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Right on top of that, Rose. Yeah, I don't know. I think like you could do if me and Gordo and Leon and Sammy wrote a sequel to Roger Rabbit, like I bet it would be pretty good. But you know, I don't trust these dildos.
No. We would do it. No one comes to us for the answers.
Us just spitballing shit right here has been like, actually, I want to see this. This sounds cool.
Do you ever do that? Like you sit there and you fall into these like, because this happens to me probably multiple times a week. Like I could write a movie. I know what I would do for a live action Dragon Ball. I know what I would do for a Looney Tunes Back in Action, the sequel, Back in Action, like back in more action.
Well, those kinds of projects, it is good to have multiple people involved that are all like the IP, because then it's like, you know, you have your ideas, but someone might come up with, you know, take that idea, twist it, and maybe make it a little better. It's like there's room for improvement, you know. Solo writing is definitely preferred for like original stories. Men like to write solo. Men like to write by themselves.
I know after I got done watching Beetlejuice 2, I kind of started rewriting the movie in my head for like 3 hours after.
I liked it. I did the same.
Yeah, because I was like, I didn't care for the movie. I thought but I thought the movie, like there was a good movie baked in there. Just it got too distracted with other stuff. But I kind of started coming up with all these ideas in my head for what would have made it a much more solid film. But yeah, I do that a lot. Or I'll watch something, or I'll think of a potential sequel idea to be like, how would I present this? You know, what can I make good out of this? But yeah, Roger Rabbit 2, it's like, yeah, I'd go to something a little bit darker, because the original one's pretty dark. I mean, and it came out in a time where like kids movies had an edge to them. You know, it's like, you know, I know we jokingly say like stuff like that traumatizes us. I'm like, not really. I mean, it didn't really traumatize us. We can take that stuff.
I want to pitch something to you, because we brought Looney Tunes Back in Action. So what would you think of Brendan Fraser replacing Bob Hoskins' character?
There you go.
I would be
all fat and old. All fat and old.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's kind of got the same build now as Bob Hoskins did back then. So I think it will work.
Dude, he's playing the same character from Looney Tunes Back in Action, but he's at Toontown.
That's
LA.
that's good.
Okay. Connect all three movies.
We've definitely gone down a rabbit hole. No pun intended. I'll leave that to the professionals.
All right. I have sort of, if you want, a similar story. Let's see, it's similar as it has to do with movies. I read this article earlier. I sent it to Badger actually, because I was like, this had to be George Lucas talking out of his ass. Apparently, George Lucas originally wanted Liam Neeson to be the real Obi-Wan Kenobi, with Ewan McGregor taking up the name after he died.
Ew.
So the original pitch for Phantom Menace, Liam Neeson was Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor was Qui-Gon. And then when Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan dies, Ewan McGregor takes up the Obi-Wan name, which is why he says the line in A New Hope, "That's a name I've not heard in a long time." Because he's thinking about the real Obi-Wan. It's so fucking stupid. But what do you guys think?
That sounds
like a Lucas idea.
It does sound like a Lucas idea, and it would also give more gravity to the Rey being a Skywalker type moniker. I don't like that. I'm glad he didn't do that.
Identity theft is rampant in the old Republic.
Yes,
after The Force Awakens, because there was all these theories about what's Rey's identity, I was convinced after the first movie that she was Obi-Wan's granddaughter. I was like, she wears the same color, and she has a British accent.
She's from the planet England.
And as we all know, you're born with accents.
Yes.
I still think that would have been better than making her Palpatine. I know that we're far removed from 2018, but just saying, I think that making her Palpatine's or Obi-Wan's granddaughter would have been better. I stand by again. I was rewriting shit.
I don't mind the idea of her being a Palpatine. It's just the way they did it was all. I mean, the way they did everything in that trilogy was awful. I like.
Be
I
hanging
kind
out
of
with you guys if it
I
was.
do
if it was
genuinely
good.
like a lot. Like the prequels is one of those things where there's actually quite a few really good ideas in the prequels. It's just the execution is just really, really sloppy. George Lucas is just he's not very good at his job. He's not.
No.
He's an idea man who needs a lot of people to filter his ideas through, and people who are actually smart. Disney was the worst people.
He's not good
to
at
take his
writing
property.
dialogue. The example I always use is in Labyrinth. There's a part where Jennifer Connelly's just about to enter the labyrinth, and
like you might be good at writing it, but you're not good at saying it. Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
He's throwing an M in there for no reason.
Labyrinth sounds like
I'm not a Lambie Turner.
Man,
but
somebody
no,
pass
she's
around
just
the
about
labyrinth.
to enter the labyrinth, and wow, I do have to concentrate on saying that word. And she looks down and goes, "Well, come on, feet." And I go, "Oh shit, George Lucas wrote that for sure. That is a George Lucas line.
Come on,
100%. That's just as bad as I'll try spinning. That's a neat trick." And it was just
You wanted Indiana Jones 3 to be set in a haunted castle or something.
Yeah,
I like that idea. That's the shit you see in the books. Have you guys ever seen the test footage of Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really good, actually.
He had his big mustache and everything.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of the funny thing about George Lucas is some of his dialogue that we loathe and make fun of. It's not necessarily that the line themselves is all like, okay, the most famous bad line from his movies is the whole sand line. I don't like sand. Okay, just looking at that sentence in isolation, it's not like it doesn't make sense for him to say something like that. I mean, he comes from Tatooine. He has a lot of terrible memories from there. He was a freaking slave there. So you could do that line in a way that worked. It's just he picks the most awkward moment. And of course, whether you want to call it his direction or Hayden Christensen's acting or just the combination of both, which that's more that, it's such a poorly acted line that it comes off just horribly and cringe. But just in isolation, that it's like, okay, I can see Anakin saying that in some scenario.
I'm from the desert. I don't like sand either. But the fact that I could say, "Hey, I don't like sand," and then that makes Natalie Portman want to kiss me. That is the weird
here's
part.
the funny thing.
What?
Everyone rails against that line. Her line right just before that is just as cringe, and it's
Totally.
so vapid. I love the water. It's like it's kind of like the way the riff tracks up there. It's like that's my entry for the most vapid line in the series. Your turn.
I never hated that line, and let me tell you why. Because like if you've ever been on a date with a girl who's like highly out of your league and you're just trying to keep the conversation going, like that's what that felt like, where he's like, shit, I gotta think of something.
I mean, it's just it's a call and
Come on,
response.
Annie.
She
Come on,
loves
Annie.
the
You can do
water.
this.
He hates the sand. I'm like, it's a cheesy conversation between a girl who's supposed to be a senator and a guy who's supposed to be a Jedi. It's like their positions in life make the line a little weird, but it's the kind of conversation you're almost like, this might have been a better exchange if they had said it in the previous movie when they were younger and you had the kids say it. That might have made a little bit more sense.
You know,
sand.
Yeah,
I don't. Hey, but even that you can change the. I don't like sand. It reminds me on that planet that I used to live on that was covered in sand. You know, when me and my mom were slaves.
And it reminds me of being a slave. That's why I don't.
Yeah,
like
and
that has way more of an impact.
One of the worst choices that George Lucas made is he made him such a chipper child, despite the fact that he was a freaking slave.
Yeah,
and it's like,
fun.
Slavery would age you a bit. And have him just act like a fairly normal, chipper little kid while being a slave, that doesn't really work, George.
Modern slavery is basically like you're forced to be a butler, and it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like, I don't know what he was doing as a slave. It seemed like he was just kind of doing his own thing.
Like Star Wars slavery basically was he was just, he was a maintenance guy for a Jewish shop owner. I mean, that was the extent of his slavery, basically.
Yes, they're the most Arabic alien ever. Like,
mine Sammy's gonna work on me, only money.
If you want to share my screen, Sammy, I feel like we actually have an update on one of last week's stories. And I feel like it's very important that we. Make sure
I had this too. I had this
Did
as
you?
well. Yes, yeah, my man. As you'll recall, we talked last week about a bat beauty pageant, and a winner has been announced. Ladies and gentlemen, isn't she beautiful, or isn't he beautiful? Isn't he feisty? He could play Quidditch. Meet the bat who won a beauty contest.
Now, first of all, that's a good looking bat. Like if the Fed stormed into a home in New York and took this beauty away from us, Trump victory guaranteed.
Hide your daughters, hide your wives.
I don't get the reference. Why I don't get why they're saying it could play Quidditch. I don't
because
weird. But
a
whatever.
creature from Oregon was crowned
Glad
this
you
year's
asked,
winner
Gord.
Thursday in an annual bat beauty contest put on by the Bureau of Land Management on Halloween, which is the last day of International Bat Week. A hoary bat with a feisty personality named Harry Potter defeated Lestat, the western small-footed bat from Idaho, in the final round of the contest. It also bested a talented figure bat named Sir Flaps-a-Lot from Utah.
Can we send agents into the bat's owner's house and put down the owner? Can we rescue the bat from somebody who named it Harry Potter? I mean, it's Oregon. It's Oregon. It can't be a use to society. So
it's gotta be pronounced like
one or two
Howery
less
or
Oregon.
something.
Yeah,
It is a type of bat, so it is a pun. It is a play on words.
Pun. I don't like these people.
You have to tell everyone Hoary spelled H-O-A-R.
It feels very Oregon.
Yes, or Oregon.
We did it.
There can be only one.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, there's enough of that. We have a story that Stupenzo was sharing with us, and
yeah, kind of in the vein of this animal cruelty nonsense, guys. It's not always bad news, even if it is.
Thank you for joining us on Animal Cruelty Night.
Yeah.
Our theme of the day.
Here's another thing that happened a while back. You might have heard about it, but it's been settled. California County pays up after illegally seizing a child's pet goat. That goat, Cedar, was ultimately slaughtered after local authorities tracked him down like a fugitive. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Watching tonight, she might have opinions on this. She could be our goat on the ground. So
Sacramento, California.
Oh, she's undercover.
Basically, in a nutshell, these people, wrongly bought this goat at an auction that wasn't sale at some fair and killed it. And they ended up having to pay $100,000. $300,000. That's how much it would cost this city of Sacramento to kill this goat. So I hope that was worth it, you animal killing fucks. But yeah, 100,000 of that is specifically earmarked in the settlement agreement. Attorneys get 35,000, and the remaining 65,000 will go at a trust fund for the little girl who is 11. The legal fight centers around the purported sale of Cedar at a 2022 district fair. The incident drew significant media attention when it happened, as it included accusations of goat theft by law enforcement and featured a California state senator. Jessica Long, the girl's mother, argued the family never agreed to sell Cedar. She said her daughter cried in the goat's pen, saying she didn't want to sell Cedar and that the Shasta Fair Association had no right to him. Despite this, one detective from the settlement obtained a warrant to seize Cedar, and two other officers then drove to Sonoma County, where they seized the goat. As a result, the young girl who raised Cedar lost him, and Cedar lost his life, Long wrote in a suit. Now plaintiffs can never get him back. But yeah, after a lengthy court battle, $300,000 for killing a goat that you had no right to have. I don't remember why they killed it. I think they ate it. I'm not sure it says here in somewhere.
Why is it always?
I just want to add to this comment, to Gord's comment right here. I want to be like Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. I don't care.
Go did a Peter Pan right off that dam.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess they did do a livestock auction, and they mistakenly auctioned off the goat that was there for other reasons.
See, this was in California.
Bringing back slavery.
Too. I couldn't believe that people were even allowed to be at the fair because of like social distancing and shit.
Yeah, 2022, exactly. Yeah, you're a good point. I'm sure everyone was masked up and had to have vaccine passports to go to the outdoor event.
Notice the similar. It's like the owner's last name here is Long, and Peanuts theirs was Longo. It's like
Longo.
Yeah,
weird.
Odd
this
coincidence.
glitch in the Matrix.
If you've got long in
Yeah.
your name and you have an animal, don't put it on the internet.
Everybody,
well, Long
quick,
said,
go check Justin Long's house. Make sure his pets are safe.
oh God,
Yes.
make sure he's
I wouldn't
safe.
want his
Anytime he's in a
beautiful
horror movie,
acting
he
career
dies.
ruined.
Yeah,
He was in Barbarian. Barbarian kicked ass.
yeah, that was a good one. Jeepers
Barbarian
Creepers,
did
he
kick ass,
kicked it good in
although
that one too.
He was in Drag Me to Hell, wasn't he? Survived that.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
I went to
but he
see
does witness.
Barbarian-
The horrifying
to s-
ending.
I went to see Barbarian thinking it was that Viking movie that came out at the same time with the
The Northman?
Yeah, the Northman. I did
rules.
Northman's
I
good
love the
too.
Northman,
I went to Barbarian thinking it was the Northman, and I sat down. I was like, "Well, this isn't at all what I thought this movie would be about."
Yeah.
That happened one time. I was on a date with a girl. We were gonna go see Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but we didn't realize until like the movie started
the
playing.
Fincher version?
We didn't realize that we accidentally sat into a showing of We Bought a Zoo with Matt Damon and I kept trying to tell her. I was like, "Hey, I think we're in the wrong theater," and she just kind of like nudging me, like, "No, don't talk. I want to watch this." And then
She
like
actually
it came
wanted to
up,
watch
she's
that
like,
movie instead.
I didn't know Matt Damon was in this movie. I was like, "We're in the wrong." Why didn't you tell me? I was like, "I'm trying to tell you. You didn't see the fucking title card that said We Bought a Zoo and how
Well, that
it
wasn't
says
a
We
terrible
Bought a Zoo
movie.
and not Girl with the Dragon Tattoo."
I had a similar experience with. Did any of you guys see Rocket Man?
Yeah,
I love that movie actually.
Okay, so I love it as well. But so my movie buddy Paul, we go see all of our movies together usually, and so we're gonna go see Rocket Man, and I overslept, and I was like, shit, the movie starts in like 15 minutes. I gotta race the theater, I gotta get there, and so I've got my tickets, and I run in, and at this point the theater's already dark. The movie had started. Now Paul is a big fat dude with a big beard, and so I sit down next to him, right? And there's a preview for the live action Aladdin playing, and it's the whole new world scene, and it's going on. And I was like, is this one of those like pre-film extended previews for? And I look over, and it's not Paul. It's just some big fat random guy with a big beard. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong theater, and I rush out of there. So that's the only bit of that Aladdin movie that I've actually seen is the whole new world scene. I run into Rocket Man just as it's starting, and Paul's like, dude, where have you been? I was like, you're not gonna fucking believe me if I tell you. Let's just shut up and watch the movie.
All right. Well, it's getting
little
to be
brother Aldo
about the
looks
top
just
of the
like that.
hour. So you know what that means. Stupenzo,
yeah.
why don't you give us the weather, buddy?
It's rainy and cold over here. It's actually rainy and warm, but it's why I had to come into the house today. I don't know. I had some technical difficulties because the thick air is preventing me to get decent Wi-Fi signal in the man cave. Or maybe my computer has a virus from all the porno. One of the two. But yeah, it's going to be raining again this week, sprinkling on and off. Of course, I am in the East Texas area. Generally, it is not as hot as people are making it out to be. It is not the hottest year on record. It seems that they're just taking temperatures from parking lots on hot summer days. It's a lot hotter than it's always been. Apparently, this is the first time in 130 years that Mount Fuji has no snow on it on an October. And it's like, well, what happened 130 years ago? Explain that. There was no industry going on. I don't know. It's all bullshit. Don't believe the weather. Just go outside and believe your own body.
I wish a
Thank you very much
meteorologist
for that
would say
fake
that at the
weather
end of a weather
forecast.
report. Don't believe the weather.
Also reporting live from weather from my bedroom. Experience an increase in golden showers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is moist and wet and other innuendo words. But looks like Stu Pencil's got another story for us. Let's see.
Yeah, a sad day for South Africa, folks. South Africa's Steve Irwin, known as Graham Dingo Dinkelman, dies at 44 from venomous...
Full stop. What are you talking about? Say that.
Graham Dingo Dinkelman, South Africa's Steve Irwin, has died at the age of 44 from a venomous snake bite. Graham Dingo Dinkelman has passed away. Yeah, Graham Dingo Dinkelman. I mean, that is a name and a half, but he's passed away after doing what he loved best, playing with his snake. At the time of his death, the man was called South African Steve Irwin. He was 44. What did him in was a snake bite from a venomous eastern green mamba. The bite left him in a medically induced coma following anaphylactic shock. Dinkelman was in a coma for nearly a month. I'm
going to find a way to
glad you guys think
put a
this is funny.
line medically induced comma into a script.
Yeah.
I'm so doing that.
He leaves behind a wife and 3 children. Keep laughing, Leon. Ranging from 9 to 14 years old. Eastern green mambas are among the deadliest snakes in the world, though they are the least deadly of the 3 green mamba variants. A single bite can cause the victim to lose the ability to breathe within 30 minutes, and some have died just as quickly from an interaction gone sideways. So R.I.P. Dinkelman. We are just laughing at your name, I'm sure.
I mean, you're definitely South Africa's Steve Irwin now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's part of his big plan, die. I don't understand why you guys don't, like, you guys play with animals all day, and then the fucking time you get killed, it's not caught on tape. What's up with that? Or you catch it on tape and destroy the footage. It's like, dude.
Well, they did catch. Well, Irwin's death was on tape.
I need to see that video for
Wait,
closure.
what?
Yeah,
they destroyed the footage.
They have footage of that.
Wow,
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know
respect, I have a lot of respect for Steve Irwin. I wouldn't have wanted that to circulate.
I didn't.
Oh, for sure. I just had no idea it was filmed. Now Steve Irwin was one of my absolute heroes. Again, Steve Irwin is sort of like a Michael Jackson case. I remember where I was when the news broke. Dude, Crocodile Hunter was every day viewing for me.
Right.
Oh, I honestly didn't care. I didn't find out what a good person he was till after he died. And I was like, oh wow, he's up there with Mr. Rogers and I don't know, some other guy who's
gorgeous
good.
animal, Bob Ross.
Well,
Bob Ross.
One thing I appreciate about Steve Irwin is a lot of these people who do these shows, talk nature and whatnot, are huge activists and they're extremely annoying. Like the Bill Nyes of the world who are just pricks. But Steve Irwin seemed like a genuinely solid dude. It's yes, and he had causes he was very, very passionate about, but it was genuine. He wasn't lecturing anybody. It's he actually loved what he did. It's there was something wholesome about him.
Totally.
So when he died, it was there was something actually to be sad about.
I think we were all kind of we were shocked that when he died, but we weren't. We were more shocked that a stingray got him. We were like, damn, I could have sworn a crocodile was going to get him. That would have been more fitting. I wonder what this guy Dingo Dinkelman did, because you get bit by a green mamba. What is your immediate thought process? You're like, oh boy, this is bad. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be pretty nerve wracking. But yeah, go into a medically induced coma to.
Well, it's only nerve wracking until the anaphylactic shock kicks in, and then your nerves kind of stop responding.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, you play with bulls, you get the horn, right? Play with snakes, you get the fangs. Just seems like a stupid way to die for YouTube clicks.
Mm.
He looks like a nice guy, though. I mean, that hair, he's fit, he's healthy. I'm sure he's probably no Steve Irwin, but
it's Dingo Dinkelman, man. We have one less Dingo Dinkelman in the world.
I'm just
Dingo Dango
I want
Dongo.
you to have a neighbor that hates it as a Dinkelman.
Yeah, I'm just sad this is the first time we're all hearing of this guy.
Yeah, really.
Damn it,
I've
Dinkelman.
been down to watch Dingo Dinkelman.
Well, I think we all saw this coming eventually, that we were going to be talking about this, and Dragon's Age, clumsy, preachy political messaging, and I have a
Powered by
bad-
Titan.
Guys, I'm a little behind the curve, but I've been noticing everyone's talking about is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I don't know what it is. I don't even care.
Okay,
I don't care. I know Gord wanted to talk about it, so he's our expert.
So my interest in this story has little to do with will it or will it not flop. I mean, yes, granted, I'm definitely rooting for it to flop. It's arguably there is a legitimate argument. This is the wokest game ever made. You literally get to choose your gender identity. It's literally instructing you to choose gender identity. But Dragon Age has kind of been woke for a little while. Obviously, BioWare has been for a while, but my interest in this is not Dragon Age. I don't care about Dragon Age. I've never thought, I think it's they're easily their most overrated IP. I've never found it to be anything all that special. First one's good, I guess, but even
First
that
one's
one,
the
I'm just
only
like,
good one. The second
yeah,
one sucked.
but even
so I
like
didn't play the third.
even
so
the
I'm definitely not
first
playing the fourth.
one, like the first one had a solid story. I think that was the good selling point for it. Gameplay wise, I actually think it was a little bit behind the times even when it came out. It was a bit dated. But to me, like the lamentable thing is, look, if you go back to when BioWare first emerged with like KOTOR and KOTOR 2 and Jade Empire, which is kind of their most slept on like classic.
Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, I mean they have, and then they came
That's
up
an
with
awful
freaking
game. Don't ever play
Mass
it.
Effect.
BioWare's Black Sheep.
Yeah, they came up with Mass Effect and did like the Mass Effect trilogy, which, you know, for my money is my favorite gaming trilogy ever. I mean, they were such good storytellers. They had so many good people. I mean, BioWare for a decent stretch there was like one of the absolute like tip top developers. I mean, they were on a level with like Rockstar. It's like when they're coming out with a game, it's like, okay, you have my attention. What are you all going to do next? A BioWare game was a freaking event. And their collapse is just astonishing to me. Because I mean, it's like, okay, Dragon Age 2, yeah, okay, it's not that good, but it's like you could kind of be like, oh well, you know, they just kind of took a misstep, you know, here or there, so no big deal. But then it's like they have consecutively, you get, I think it was Mass Effect Andromeda, which is probably the saddest I've ever been playing a video game, was playing Mass Effect Andromeda. That game like was genuinely depressing for how terrible it was. It's such a massive step down. And then you have after that, I think it was Anthem, and Anthem is, whew, I mean, you talk about a game. It's like they spent so much money trying to make that and hyping it up, and it was a freaking disaster. I mean, it's a meme. It's one of probably the most famous gaming disasters of all time. And now they've come out with this, and the media is trying to shill really hard for it. I have been watching some gameplay for it to see, you know, what is the actual substance of the game like. It's extremely
the only thing that I've seen is a lot of the shill sites keep saying it's a return to form, almost as if it was scripted for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, that's like a key. That's like a phrase that they use nowadays. Which the funny thing is about they're calling it a return to form. The last Dragon Age game won Game of the Year. So it's like, what do you mean return to form? That doesn't even make sense by your all standards. I mean, granted, I thought Dragon Age Inquisition sucked. But again, I don't really care that much about the Dragon Age, you know, IP. But
here's over here, like writing on the wall for Mass Effect. I may as well go.
That is
my sim now.
Yeah, that is my that's like the great sadness I have. And it's like anybody holding out hope that the next Mass Effect's going to be good. I'm like,
no,
you have far more hope than I do.
Even though
Gord,
producers...
you want to the fucked up part, you're probably gonna buy it anyway.
No, I won't. No,
well, I know my buddy.
Hearing from reliable people that it's genuinely great, I'm not touching it.
Well, my buddy, our buddy Tony Down Under has been streaming the game, and he's been getting some good videos of views on that. Yeah, as far as like, you know, okay, producers are catching on and they're going to pivot away from the woke stuff. The thing is, this game you're talking about here has been like in development since what, like 2015?
Yeah,
you know. So I mean, there's going to be at least a couple years more of the stuff that's been in the pipeline for the past 4 or 5 years going to be coming out.
I may not
this idea. We may not have seen the worst of woke yet. Like it's still coming down.
Yeah,
you can believe that a company's going to pivot away from woke stuff. It's like that doesn't change who their writers are at them. It's like they still have really crappy writers and developers working for them. So the only way a true pivot would work is if they fire everybody, because those people aren't capable of making a good property. That's the problem. It's like, it's not enough to just say, well, maybe we shouldn't do so much woke stuff. It's like, that doesn't change that the people working there are woke and they aren't talented. So
well,
unless you hear that they fired everybody, what the heck does that even mean?
I noticed when they when they sense they're losing their grip on things, their main instinct, instead of pulling back and trying to see like what works, what the fans like, they tend to double down and go, they didn't like this, you should like this because my politics are the correct politics.
Punish them.
And and you're an idiot because you don't like this. And that just makes people even more mad, and they just don't seem to get the message that you know.
even if you
because
had
commies don't care about money, you know.
No.
Yeah,
So-
that's the problem. You can't
well, no,
talk.
it's like they just want to seize more things. It's like, we want this thing to be ours. We want this thing to be ours. They just want things to be theirs. But like, okay, even if, let's say you
That's
had
why
all this,
I want to be a communist when it comes to birth control. I want to seize the means of reproduction.
Yeah.
That was for
Yeah,
you,
we
George.
should take away women's body autonomy. I can't wait. 2 days from now, guys, it's gonna happen. Hell yeah.
can't
excited.
wait.
Just
But
kidding.
well, I mean, probably 2 or 3 out of 4 of us are kidding. But like, even okay, like, so let's say it's like, okay, it had all the woke stuff, but let's say the gameplay was actually really, really great. That would at least be something to latch onto. I watched Tony Down Under a little bit. I've watched Mauler play. Heck, even Little Platoon was streaming this. I've never actually seen him stream a game before. And I think most of them, if not all of
Quite
them,
an
were playing
effort
this
on his
game on
part,
like
by the
the
way.
highest difficulty. It looks so bland and repetitive. The dialogue writing is just atrocious. Not even just the woke stuff, just in general, the writing is absolutely pathetic.
Well,
The
so,
soundtrack is bland. There's
earlier-
nothing about this game that is even remotely inspired. Meanwhile, you have a game like Vampire Survivors, which could not be more simple in its concept. They just released this Castlevania pack for. You talk about a game with just insane value and with such a simple idea. It's like, that is inspired game making. And I love the heck out of the people who made that game, because it's like, those people actually know what they're doing. More of that, please. But no, it's like Dragon Age spits out a piece of garbage, which is repetitive and woke nonsense. It's like 9 out of 10. And they're going to probably try to push this for Game of the Year. I don't know if it'll win. I kind of think Astrobot's going to win, but I know Dragon Age will get a huge push for Game of the Year.
So, well, something I pointed out on SNH last night that I don't see anyone else talking. It's a nitpick, but it was so funny to me how I was like, how could people not notice this? So I'm sure you've seen like the dinner table scene where one of the main girls comes out as non-binary or whatever.
Yes.
So
Oh my God, I saw that
she's
too.
coming out to her mother, right? And her mother is like some sort of queen or something. So she's speaking this race, like they have an accent. She's speaking very royally and regally, but she's got like a Pacific Islander accent or whatever. And then her daughter comes in and just sounds like a fucking regular California white girl. So her mother's like, "What do you mean about non-binary? What is non-binary? We have words for this." And she's like, "I'm gonna use the pronouns they, them." I'm like, you were raised, shouldn't you also have an accent? That was my takeaway.
And then she does like shame push-ups or something like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's
she does
so
a barb.
freaking cringe.
A barb. Good to
It's like,
shame
this
herself for getting the pronouns wrong.
I'm like, the only element to this that you have right is that the idea of non-binary is pure fantasy. That's the only thing you have right in this whole scenario, and it's purely by accident. Is that it's like, well, this definitely belongs in the fantasy genre.
Hey, you know what? I will say this: most of the people who adhere to those type of politics or who buy into the whole, like pronoun game, it's not a bad idea to get.
Buy anything, but go on.
But I'm saying it's not a bad idea to try and get them to do push-ups. It's probably something that they're sorely lacking in.
Bunch of noodle arms writing these fantasy action epics,
I feel bad. I actually haven't done my push-ups today, and I need to. So after this stream, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's like, oh, in the stream, push-up time, because I haven't done my daily push-ups.
But yeah, it's just the fall of BioWare. It was just it's really sad to look at, because I mean, they were just on such an incredible roll for a long time, back when games were actually exciting, and just they're one of those companies that when they put something new out that is going to be terrible, there's just that added little bit of sadness.
Imagine if Quentin Tarantino just out of the blue started making shit like I don't know what's an awful movie that's come out lately. Like what was that one with Mark Ruffalo and the girl from Spider-Man?
You know
what I'm talking
about? Poor Things?
Yeah, Poor Things. Imagine if Quentin Tarantino had his whole catalog and then start putting out things like Poor Things. It'd be like, bro, you're Quentin Tarantino. The fuck? Like,
it's like, where did all of this go? Where did your talent go? What happened?
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'm kind of fully on board with his idea of retiring after one more movie. I'm like, okay, as much as I like his movies and look forward to them, he's one of the few filmmakers that gets me in a seat. I get where he's coming from with this idea. It's like, you know what? Probably shouldn't go too long, because eventually you're going to kind of lose your moxie a little bit. And I'm like, he's not wrong. A lot of
You
these
can
great,
wear out your welcome. Okay.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
some of them just start making. I mean, we brought up Robert Zemeckis earlier. When was the last time Spielberg made a great movie? Catch Me If You
I don't-
Can. That was probably the last great movie he did.
He
He's done a few
apparently
I
made
good
just
some
remember
ones
good
here and
watching,
there,
but we didn't watch
I
them.
remember watching The Irishman, you know, because, you know,
that
Scorsese's
was
movies
bad.
doing it with De Niro and just like feeling sad.
it's just
Like,
it's
oh,
fine. Like the movie's fine. Like in Killers of the Flower Moon, it's fine. I mean, I didn't think it was bad or anything. It's solid, but I'm like, wow, $200
okay,
million
hold on.
on this. Okay,
Spielberg apparently. Oh no, he was a producer on Super 8. Never mind, not director.
Super 8 sucks.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree.
oh,
I did
no,
not
wait.
like
Shit,
Super
I was
8.
confusing Super 8 and Chronicle. Never mind. Ignore me.
Oh, okay, yeah, Chronicle's actually pretty dang good. Chronicle's
I didn't
pretty
like
good.
Chronicle that much either.
I like Chronicle. That was pretty cool.
I think the thing about Chronicle was I had like a similar idea for a story, and it's just like this is way worse than my idea. You know, like this is
Yeah.
like bad.
But,
Not found footage.
Wow, you're right. You
Jesus.
might be onto something with Catch Me If You Can, because I'm looking through his. Now, to be fair, I'm
Catch
a
Me If You
Kingdom of
Can's
the Crystal
amazing.
Skull apologist, but I think
yeah,
you're
he's
right
done.
with
He's
Catch Me
done a
If You Can.
few. He's well. I mean, I mean, the reason I picked that one is because I've looked into this before. He's done good movies since then, but Catch Me If You Can's probably is, for my money, that's the last great movie he did. That's the last one where I'm like, yes, that's a bona fide classic. Some might argue for Munich. I think Munich is good, but kind of
think
forgettable.
I
don't think it's a
little
great
overrated.
movie. Yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's great.
I love
but,
it knocked
yeah,
up when they're joking about Munich. Jews get revenge.
Yeah.
He was an executive producer on Real Steel, which was awesome.
I think
Yeah,
that movie is heavily underrated.
Yeah,
I
it was
agree.
fun. It's
I
a
mean,
fun
like,
one.
well,
Showed it to
I
mom
remember,
recently.
like,
She liked it.
I remember when I saw the preview for Bridge of Spies and thought this one could be his return to greatness. Bridge of Spies is freaking boring.
I never
and
watched
it's
it.
one of the
So I had the same thought you did when I saw the trailers, but yet for whatever reason, never actually had the motivation to watch it.
So Mark
Same.
Rylance won Best Supporting Actor for that movie, and it is the most forgettable performance I have seen for a guy winning an Oscar. I'm like, he won. I was like, what did he win for? He doesn't it's like he just talks. There's nothing special about his performance whatsoever. And I just remember all the lauding they gave him for his acting in this. I'm like, well, it's bland. It's boring. Who freaking cares? It's such a bland movie. Like I watched it, I was like, okay, well, that's over. I don't care. But yeah, he's done, like I said, he's done some solid movies since then. You know, I thought War of the Worlds was okay, a little cheesy. You know, he had Crystal Skull, he had Munich, he had Adventures of 1010, Warhorse, Lincoln, Bridge of Spies.
BFG. What do you think of BFG?
Yeah, BFG. Which
What
I,
is BFG? I never heard.
it's
A big,
it's about
big
the
fucking
Doom,
giant.
the Doom. Yeah, it's
Oh,
about the
big
Doom
friendly
gun.
giant. Sorry.
No,
That's
big
what
friendly.
it stands
This
Hey,
is,
that god awful
this is
Ready
the
Player
news
One
channel, Stupenzo. Watch your
Yeah.
fucking mouth.
You know, then he did West Side Story, which I know I mean, he's responsible for Rachel Zegler. You realize that?
Oh yeah,
It's
West
his
Side
fault.
Story is the thing is I watched West Side Story and liked it, but I mean it's a remake and it was just but it was cool to see, you know, Steven Spielberg doing the choreography, directing a musical. I mean that was fun. And
I know. I
what
like
was
the
the-
original West Side Story. I'm never going to
Of
watch
course.
this modern one.
what was the hot spicy Latina sister? She stole the whole show. And I'm shocked we haven't seen her in a bunch of stuff since then, or maybe we have and I haven't noticed.
Maybe she came out as
She won an Oscar.
anti-Palestine in
Well,
Hollywood.
that was
like,
wasn't the Oscar Rachel Zegler?
No, you're thinking of the friend, the sister, the hot
Ariana
Latina
DeBose,
mommy.
or?
Maybe, yeah, probably. That's probably her.
Yeah,
But
Ariana.
was
Yeah,
great.
she won. Okay, she won the Oscar. Yeah.
She was worth
Yeah,
seeing
she
that
was.
whole movie for.
Well,
so-
I'll tell you probably what the problem is. She did Argyle right after.
Oh,
she did.
okay.
She did Wish and Argyle this year, or this year. And
Who
last
was
year,
she in
so-
Argyle? I don't even remember her in that.
was she the
Oh,
bad
yeah,
guy?
she's actually has a somewhat prominent role in Argyle. It's just
She's
Argyle
the
was
main
that
bad guy,
bad.
isn't she?
she's the main female amongst the bad guys. But
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. I got you. I know who you're talking about now.
Argyle was the
movie's
worst
like
movie of 2024.
blanked.
No one
Yeah.
convinced me otherwise. Fuck that film.
All right, we're
it's I mean, it's
spiraling here.
definitely
Time
awful.
for
But
another
it's not my least
story.
favorite.
Oh, okay, you wimps
You
really
better
needed
know.
a milder. You guys really wanted a milder jalapeno, so you're getting one. Apparently, vegetable breeders in Oregon
Habanero.
State University have produced 2 new habanero peppers that they say pack all the flavor without the heat. What the hell's the point of that? Apparently, a lot of people out there are children.
So they did what the gamer
Yeah.
journalists have
playing it
been
on
wanting
easy
for years.
mode.
An easy mode habanero.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty interesting though. But apparently, a lot of people out there are children living in adult bodies. This is funny. Vegetable breeders at Oregon State University recently introduced 2 new varieties of habanero that say pack all the flavor but without the heat. According to the Oregon Public Radio, the peppers can be thought of like pepperoncinis. The peppers reportedly took more than 2 decades
Why not
to develop.
pepperoni?
Yeah, they were bred spelled like BERAD. Idiots.
Pepperoni.
Editors. Where are the editors? They were bred for characteristics including low heat and early ripening. The peppers are called Nadahata and Mild Thing. Also, only one set of quotations here for Mild Thing. Jesus Christ, guys. Topping out at 1,000 units of Scoville units. Now, typically, habanero is 100,000 to 350,000. So, my whole thing is with habaneros, not really a fan of them because they have that smoky flavor. I like serranos a lot. They got that clean spice. But if you want that smoky flavor, yeah, you got to get habaneros. But the Scotch bonnets, same thing. They're hot. They're spicy. But if you wanted to do a whole lot, that's the thing. If you're making salsa, it'd be cool to take 50 of these nadahatas and blend them up and get a nice orange sauce that isn't colon scarring. But yeah,
how many people are you making salsa for? You need 50 of these bitches.
I mean, dude, if you make a big vat of salsa, usually when I make hot sauce with serranos, I'll be 2 serranos, and then I'll throw in obviously onions and maybe tomatoes if I want. But you got to throw in a bunch of other vegetables, cilantro. Yeah, you got to even some bell peppers or something. You got to throw in a bunch of stuff because if you want the quantity, you want it to fill up one of those.
Well, you said cilantro, which your people are required by law to use that in everything. So
I love cilantro. Yeah, in fact, whenever you meet a person who doesn't like cilantro, I just feel sorry for them. Or not if you don't like it, if it literally tastes like soap to you, you've got that.
Yeah, apparently people have a weird deep bet where cilantro tastes like soap. That's weird.
I know a Mexican chick, full-blooded Mexican chick. She's got that issue. She hates cilantro, and it's dude, you have to understand how many things I put cilantro in.
Even if I had that, it wouldn't bother me because I remember, and this is when my mom would wash my mouth out with soap for cursing. I was like, oh, this tastes kind of good. And then Birdie Bots, every flavored beans had the soap flavored beans. So I was like, these are kind of my favorite of the weird flavored ones. And then when I was in the police academy at one point, they don't pay you to do that, by the way. So I was running real low on money and dipping into savings and shit. And I ran out of toothpaste and didn't realize it. So I used shampoo and I was like, hey, as long as my teeth are clean,
good God. Good God, man. Yeah, I mean, the thing about this mild pepper thing, it's people, they keep breeding the hottest pepper ever, the hottest pepper in the world. They keep making new ones. Pepper X is the new hottest pepper. It's so hot. But it's this idea of breeding a habanero that's mild but still tastes like one. This is getting lauded, hey, everyone hating on it. And it's what is the difference here? I mean, I like spicy food, but I mean, this article seems very biased.
Okay, here's the difference, Enzo. Everyone loves extreme sports, the X Games. Nobody wants to go watch the fucking Special Olympics. That's more just
crap. I want to watch Special X Olympics.
Yeah, Special X Olympics. There you go. You're onto something here, Gordo. Retard snowboarding off a cliff.
Yes.
Continue.
Yeah, I mean, basically, less hot peppers are not something the world needs, according to this article. Case in point about how they can go wrong. This is funny. The New York Times recently published a story about the epidemic, they use the word, facing tourist swamp Mexico City, where taquerias have been losing their spicy hot salsas as they aim to appeal to visitors. Well, this is why you have, you could have 3 or 4 different sauces. And guys, if you ever, it's a legit place when the spicy hot sauce is green and the mild hot sauce is red. For some reason,
yes,
people think red is the hot stuff. And a lot of these restaurants, if you have it backwards, if the red is the hot stuff, the green stuff needs to be hot. So yeah, and I do love making a good
so when I'm down in Mexican town, I know that I'm gonna get good food when
Mexican town, Illinois.
Detroit.
No, Michigan. Sorry, yeah, same state. Whatever.
Either way,
I don't think that made it any better. If we're being honest.
Yeah, actually, it's more north, but but no, we do have a very lovely Mexican town. But I'm not going to the place with a bunch of lights and having you come in. I'm going to the place with no windows and it's owned by one family.
Yeah,
and
And the health inspector shuts them down, and they just reopen under a different name a month later. That's what happened to a restaurant place.
You get a discount if you pay with cash.
Reopening the restaurant
exactly.
under someone else's name and under a different restaurant name, but it was the same family every time. And it was like, I don't care that they've never once passed a health inspection. This shit is good. Frankly, I don't want a Mexican place to pass a health inspection. I know what Mexico is actually like. I prefer the authenticity.
The hepatitis adds spice.
For me, if I go to a Mexican joint and they have, obviously you got to, the rice and beans. If the rice and beans are good, the food's going to be good. It's like also the salsa. Like when they give you the salsa with the chips, like this is how you test. This is your first judgment of the restaurant. But for me, if they don't have a chili relleno on the menu, I'm getting a burger, because it's hard to fuck up a burger. And the best, if you're a legit Mexican joint when you got the chili relleno.
In this economy, I got nothing to steal.
Yeah.
I will say it's.
I tell people that I
think
hate
it's
Mexican food. I don't hate Mexican food. It's just I live in because I used to think Mexican food fucking sucked, and then I went to Texas, my favorite state, and I was like, "Oh, Mexican food's fucking awesome." And then I went back home.
I like. Go ahead.
I went back home and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, back to hating Mexican food." It turns out I just hate fake Mexican food. So
yeah, well, I mean, I prefer real Mexican food, legit Mexican food. Out here, we get a lot of Tex-Mex, which is basically Mexican food, but just covered in ungodly amounts of cheese, cheese on everything, and cheese dips and cheese. Like Tex-Mex will give you salsa and queso with the chips, but a real Mexican joint will give you salsa and refried beans with the chips. So that's like another good sign that you're getting a kind of West Texas vibe, west of Texas, because like Central Texas,
like queso.
Yeah. Central Texas, East Texas, this is taco land. Whereas when you get to West Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, that's where you get into burrito territory. Everyone loves burritos. And I personally prefer the wet burritos. I want the burrito that's like covered in sauce.
Hell yes.
You got to eat it with a fork and knife. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The flavor of those is better, but to me, burritos are such a hand food that eating with a fork and knife feels wrong. But also, I don't want to get my hands all dirty because I'm a prissy little bitch.
Yeah.
So.
A dry burrito is a thing, and they're good for like takeout places and taco trucks. But if I'm going to a restaurant, I want a wet burrito.
I'll be sure to have Bush on as our culinary expert because he was showing me some stuff the other day that looked like it was to absolutely die for.
Food porn.
I want to go on Iron Chef against like Boosh and Badger because Boosh and Badger are both excellent cooks.
Dude, throw me in there, dude. I'm a badass cook too, bro. I don't get nothing.
I will host it.
What's funny is like I think Boosh should pivot to food on this chat to just start doing food.
Dude,
man.
I would watch the shit out of a Boosh
cooking with
cooking
Boosh
channel.
Call your channel Amuse Boosh.
Yeah. It works.
That's brilliant. Fuck you guys. That was awesome.
No, that is good. I think
that joke was better than you acted. All right, so let's see here. I found another story. I mean, just like the as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to my announcer voice. Ghost jobs.
And then he says nothing.
What do they mean? What are they?
What are ghost jobs?
I don't know. So we're just gonna take a little.
I know.
I think ghost jobs. Those are the people who make the hoods for those folks in the South.
Oh
no! It's when it's when you blow a ghost.
Yeah.
No, I thought that's when a ghost blows you.
I just imagine a bunch of vampires picketing outside a fucking warehouse, but only at night. Like, these ghosts are coming in and taking our jobs.
Yeah, no, it just reminds me of like the what's his face, like the brother in Walk Hard. You ever tried jerking off with a ghost hand? Nothing.
Or getting mad at like the werewolves for only working like once a month.
All right. U.S. job seekers are secretly falling victim to ghost jobs, filled with false hope and promises. With one TikToker advertising people how to spot them. So apparently, I'm assuming they're fake jobs. We can go. So what is a ghost job? Well, it sounds as though it's tied to being ghosted from a job. It actually.
We've made Trump's economy is bad. We've made 50,000 new ghost jobs in the last month. Come on, man.
I was actually gonna like comment. I was like, "Are you okay? You sound like you're mentally failing." And then I realized you
He's
were
having
doing
a
Biden
stroke.
impression.
It's on
That
camera.
tracks. Oh, you know what I figured out you can do with Biden really well the other day is I was listening. I love the Dire Straits. And
Yeah.
you know they have their song "Sultans of
Ironically
Swing."
enough, Ghost Job,
Right.
money for nothing.
Yeah, no, but so like the lyrics in Sultans of Swing sounds like a rambling Joe Biden. It's like, you got a shiver in the dark, you got you waiting after parking. Meantime, south of the river, you stop and you hold everything.
How has there not
born
been?
Dixie, a double fall time.
Is there a San Francisco cover band of the Dire Straits called the Dire Gays by any chance? I think
there
that's
has
a good
to be,
idea.
right?
I think it's a good idea.
So okay, so basically that's kind of what I assumed. They're phantom jobs. You know, it's kind of I would assume it'd very much be something you would see more on like Craigslist rather than actual job sites, but apparently they exist on job sites. So
you know, if we want to
feel less bad, it makes me feel less bad for not getting callbacks from certain job interview processes. It turns out the jobs aren't existing.
Yeah,
if we want to end the ghost job,
shit, that place wasn't real.
If we want to solve the ghost job crisis, I say we target America's haunted houses.
Yeah, Jesus. Well, yeah, like I say, a second paragraph. It's because, it's like the intention of the company to give this impression that the company's growing, and also makes employees feel replaceable and motivates them to thinking their job load will be eased with new hires. Jesus.
Bush has a point. What with the Starfish navigation system? That's about it. Yeah, no, this makes total sense. I don't know what the end game here would be on this, other than I guess trolling people in a dire situation.
But now we got trolls in the mix. We got ghosts. We got trolls. Fucking mythical creatures abound trying to get these.
Who are you
jobs.
gonna call? Who are you gonna call?
Lepravamps.
We can't call Ghostbusters because that's ghost jobs. Self-defeating.
So basically, if you see a job posting that is 5 or 4 days old, that is already too old. There's a high chance that you shouldn't click it. Jeez, the turnaround rate nowadays is insane.
Yeah, ghosts are like the blacks of the mythical community. They just don't want to work.
Good God. I mean, that'd be shitty if you were a ghost and you had to work. Like, come on, dude, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, let me chill for
It's like
a
that
minute.
old Sam Kinison bit. You mean when I'm dead, life's so good, fucking man in the ass.
Yeah. Not good. But yeah, it seems just seems very predatory and strange and I don't know, just bullshit. I mean, how do you get the job to post the ghost jobs? Like someone has that job, right? That is a position. Hey, we need you to go on monster.com or whatever, LinkedIn, need you to make it seem like there's job openings. And it's weird.
It does seem like that. I kind of there is a troll lurking in my heart that was like, all right, yeah. Say it's 3 days a week. Say it's full time, work from home. All these perks.
Stuff.
There's like if you come in, there's a little Asian lady who will come and massage your shoulders every morning. Food bar, ping pong table, starts at $100K. But you need 20 years experience on this programming software that's only been around for 5.
Yeah,
and,
20 years experience in AI.
yeah.
I mean, I kind of wish like I could get a ghost job and just be like, look, it's like you just put me on the payroll. And it's kind of like the narrator situation in Fight Club where it's like I'm just paying me by proxy. Huh?
Yeah. You sound so white. You're probably see through. Between all of us, you could get a ghost job.
I hope so. That'd be great. It's like it's just a position by proxy. It's like you're just paying me. I'm not really going.
Ghost job.
I print copies of the handbook for the recently deceased. That's my ghost job.
Yeah, I guess if I wanted a ghost job, my job would be the guy who has to like open the cabinets and close them real quick and make it look all scary in the kitchen.
No, Boosh, my siblings are Asian. I'm Caucasian.
There you go. He puts the.
So I have more. I do have more Asian siblings than I have white ones, but still.
You also have more. I have more. Wait, no, you have more Asian siblings than me because I have no Asian siblings.
right.
No, that's not true. If you count step siblings, 'cause my stepmom's Filipino. So that means her son's half Filipino. Holy shit! I have a half Asian stepbrother. I've never thought about this.
Oh, good for you. I'm just kidding.
Cord, we have something in common.
Oh my gosh.
You guys have lots of things in common. All right. I've been telling you guys you should hook up for years.
Have you?
No.
Have you known them for years?
That's what I was throwing me.
Almost 2 years, I think.
We were ghost friends before.
Hold on, we're gonna add a new banner.
Oh.
Oh, did you see yours?
Breaking
Enzo?
news.
I did. Salsa expert.
I haven't read the banners. I didn't know they were a thing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the banners are
news.
definitely. You heard it here first.
I mean,
King.
really and truly, you know, if there is like a Chinese takeover of the United States and they wanted to write history in a way that covers up all the bad deeds of the actual people in power, they really could point to our family as kind of like the source of where it all started. They really could.
Wow.
That's how you'll be spared.
Yeah.
Like, see, white devil ain't all bad.
It's like Chombe.
No, we're not. No, we're not doing that. We're, we I'm sure we can all do a really shitty Asian accent, and but let's see.
No, ghost jobs. You mean boo, boo?
Yeah, that's what I said. We used to joke that my buddy's house was haunted by this little black boy named Jamal, and he would just come up behind you and go, yo. But Jamal,
can I bum a Newport?
Yeah. You got a Lucy.
We better become ghosts, otherwise we're all going to hell.
Yeah, you guys missed my hell joke on Leon's stream. Sammy heard it.
I feel like I remember this. What was it?
Don't worry, I'm not repeating it. It was awful.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this ain't that stream, boys. Let's,
good call.
The walls are bleeding grape soda.
I just saw this. I just like it for the headline. Because it's very long. Last night I got an email from someone who said, I'm 46. Is it okay to start producing music? I said, yes, start now. How a 67-year-old pensioner went viral for performing industrial techno at home.
What?
I feel like
there's certainly that is a head and shoulders line.
Yeah.
It's like, so are we talking two separate stories, or is this what?
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm 46. Is it okay? How a 67-year-old pensioner? Hold on.
21 years later, he finally did it. After finally getting the go-ahead.
Last night I got an email, and 21 years later this happened. It's like,
I mean, to be fair, though,
that long for his nails to grow 9 inches.
Guys, I watched that John Williams documentary, and that was something I really loved. And what they talk about is, first of all, if you want to be great at music, you gotta, military style regiments of learning the craft. And once you become like an expert of your instrument, that's when you can get the jobs. But like, it takes years and years of dedication. So, I mean, yeah, let's say you're 46 and you want to start producing music. It might be
right
21 years later. Yeah.
Taylor Swift is a ghost job. She doesn't have that much talent.
So let's explore. I was busy giving Boosh a wrench.
Ooh. When
you think techno, you might think of sweaty clubs, crowded dance floors.
Think of Lance.
24-hour parties.
It is. I didn't even see that guy. Yeah, no, that's funny.
Lance, definitely big fan
rave
of,
kid. Yeah,
techno. He always blows me away with that too. No, we're getting sidetracked. But make no mistake, dance music isn't just a young man's game. Proving that point is Nick Hayes, a 67-year-old retiree that has built an audience of more than 100,000 followers performing live industrial techno from his home in Wakefield. So,
yeah, but supports might matter. Some
dang
more
it,
woke
this-
field, am I right?
This freaking story. My journey started when I was 55. What happened to the 47-year-old and the 60-something-year-old? What? I can't keep up with this. What is
Sonia,
going on? There's
you always
so
do my
many
birth.
plot
You
holes.
get a pass. Your Asian siblings will be able to keep up with all this math. You, unfortunately, like you said, are caught.
It's because of my Asian siblings that I'm noticing this is all
A story
wrong.
that took decades.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so techno has been around for quite some time. So yeah,
Technically,
I mean, and I support anybody. Like you're retired, you want to try out new things. Like there was this old guy, Bill, at my work, and we asked what he was gonna do after he retired, and he's like, "I think I'm gonna get into bird watching," and I was like, "You're gonna be dead in a year."
Oh my gosh.
Hey, shut the fuck up, Sammy.
Okay.
Yeah, just let your bird breed your vape cloud.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with appreciating birds, but like you could tell he obviously like didn't have a plan. Like there was another guy, Keith, who retired the year before, although he was a little bit younger, and I was like, "What do you do?" And he was like, "I've always wanted to have a food truck." Like, so like he was planning on doing something. It was like whenever you get these older guys, like when they're done working, they're like, "Yeah, I'm just probably gonna hang out, watch Matlock." And it was like, "All right, you're gonna be dead in a year." Like there's this old guy, couple properties down. He just rides on his lawn, his rider mower like every day. Like we just see him doing it. Probably he doesn't want to face his wife or whatever horror show is going on
if he
inside
wanted to
there.
stay in shape, he would be doing a push mower every day. So yeah, dead in a year.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I
It
think
was
these
like
people overestimate how many episodes of Matlock there are,
Right. And there's the new show too with Kathy Bates.
which that won't last. So
No.
yeah, I heard that they're remaking Columbo.
probably.
Who should play the new Columbo?
Well, no.
Paul Rudd.
Yes.
That word is banned. It's actually going to be indigenous people, though.
Yeah.
That was really stupid. I'm sorry.
Medico Vespuccio.
Yeah, no, you're on an Italian's channel.
To be fair, my heritage is Spanish, so
Hey,
Yeah.
Columbo is that could be South American. You don't know.
And
I
you
would
didn't
say-
vote for my thing on Moxie's channel last night where I said, "Hey, we
What?
brought chocolate."
Oh yeah.
I'll be real, bro. I was so drunk on Moxie's show, I don't remember half of it.
Dude, you
yeah.
were in rare form. That was hilarious. Yeah, a new Matlock should not have been made. Oh, we see you, Moxie.
Oh,
We
she's
love
still
you,
here.
Moxie.
What up, girlie?
Okay, here's how we can pick the new Columbo. Imagine who we want to turn around and go, and just one more thing.
Yeah. I'm thinking Paul Rudd.
Oh, I actually do kind of like Paul Rudd as that.
But
yeah.
Paul Rudd playing Columbo, not Paul Rudd being himself. You know what I mean? Like he's got to do
Yeah,
the
I don't-
winky face. He's
Yeah,
gotta be
no, he'd be
grizzled.
too damn smile. Just one more thing. No, I don't want that. I want you to I want you to actually act.
I tried to get back into Columbo and I realized like each episode is a feature-length film. I did not know that. I was like, whoa.
Dude, there's so
many
convoluted.
and they're all long and they're so crazy.
Yeah, they're insane. They're convoluted. They are a lot of fun. It's a good show. But
Yeah,
yes,
they could have easily
let's-
been 44-minute episodes for sure. An
I
hour
will-
and a half.
I will watch the new Columbo if they let me sponsor my drink, and we can call it Columbo Wumbo.
There you go.
So,
yes.
If we can do Columbo Wumbo sponsorship, I'm in.
We are into the Wumbo juice.
Mm.
But yeah,
200
as far as
200% organic, everyone. 200%.
as far as this story goes, if you are trying to pick,
Am
up
I going to
music-
get flagged if I play this video?
No,
I don't know. Let's try it.
let's find out. No, it's this guy's music video. See, yeah, if you're gonna try to pick up music, pick up being a DJ. That'll be probably the easiest thing to learn. If you're trying to pick up
If
piano,
I were to pick up music, I would want to make this kind of stuff.
dude, I think all the time about how I should be a DJ. I would go under the name Man Boob, spelled BEWB, and just the idea is like, you know, because like I'm in a band, I play the drums, and you have to split your payout with like 5 other dudes. Lame. Just
I
bring your
agree.
laptop, yeah, and make all that money yourself. You don't care.
I mean, I'd go
if I wanted to learn
How
piano,
his monitor is going ham, dude.
yeah, I mean, if I wanted to learn piano, it takes, you know, what do they say, 1,000 hours to learn it, you know. But with DJing, seriously, like you could learn the basics in a week, you know.
I like that he's got the hand gestures down.
Yeah. Yeah, as long
You
as
watching
you got
this?
the equipment.
You watching this, Miss 3P? What do you think for the bedroom later?
Yeah.
Digging it?
Are you talking about the music or the old man?
Why not both?
There you go.
I want him to watch.
Yeah, like if you wanted to pick up the saxophone, you'd probably have to like take some actual lessons from an actual saxophone player. I mean, maybe YouTube, but still, like,
I'm sure there's someone on YouTube with 498,000 subscribers. There's a fucking saxophone tutorialist.
All right, let's fast forward.
I
And see if
guarantee
he's
you there's-
gotten
yeah, there's
anything other
the
than
cool
tutorials
thing about
everywhere.
the teacher, though, the teacher's got to be the one that, because you got to be, it's like that Whiplash movie. You have to be driven to the point where you want to quit. And if you don't quit, then you got what it takes. You can keep going. You got to be driven like so hard into the floor with the gear, with the equipment, with the music, with the practicing, with the rudiments. And if you're, you know, you got to wake up at 6 a.m. or whatever, do it 9 hours a day, and you think, oh, this is too much, then you don't got what it takes to be John Williams, you know, to
I think
be
what's cool,
one of the best.
What's cool for this guy is the fact that he has amassed so many followers. Just like, you know, I'm a huge fan of like synthwave music, and there are some
Me
genuinely
too,
like
buddy.
excellent synth creators out there who have like no following. Like my favorite synthwave artist has about as many subscribers as I do.
Yeah,
Dude,
Mark,
literally-
don't threaten me with a
actually-
good time.
Literally the other day, so I put on a lot of like you know, synthwave, just like compilations on Spotify for when I'm driving or editing or whatever it may be. And so I found this dope ass synthwave song called "I Don't Want You Back." And the other day I wanted to listen to it, but I was on YouTube and I was trying to I was like, why can't I find this song? And after scrolling, I finally found the one that was on my Spotify. I was like, this song has 237 views on YouTube and has like 1,000 subscribers. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my favorite. His name's Lied. He has like 1.73 thousand subs. That's it.
Yeah,
And his music is freaking phenomenal. I mean, this guy puts out banger after banger after banger. There's good variety to the sound. That's everything. He puts out so many good tracks.
Oh,
And he's got
incredible-
practically no following. And I'm
incredible
like,
artists.
it's insane. I'm like,
I
this
would
guy's
recommend,
video should have like
my-
hundreds of thousands of views. They're so
Dude,
good.
I got a buddy named, he's a real life buddy of mine named Anthony. He's got a channel called Pup Tub, and he's only got 242 subscribers, but he does all analog electronic music. So everything he's hearing is in on a computer. It's all on gear. You know, he's got all these synthesizers and devices and various other things, but he just does like, you know, big 2-3 hour live streams every once in a while. And yeah, but yeah, he's got like some of these, he's only got 242 subs, but he's got some of his videos have like, you know, 14,000 views on them. So it's weird, you know?
Well, you got guys like Mark Riblet. That guy's, you know, fantastic behind
Riblet?
some of this stuff. Is that his name?
It's like Riblet or whatever his name is. Yeah, it's like French, I think.
Mark McRib.
Yeah.
Riblets sound like an appetizer at
Yeah,
Applebee's.
but Mark McRib is like, oh, hey, we're bringing this ad back this time only, limited time, and for another like 3 years.
Wonderful musician. Great friend of the channel, Mark McRib. But well, he's obviously British because he's bad arse bass lines, as we can see there.
Yeah.
So no, I do think it's cool though. I think this is a good
never too
story
late.
to end on. You're never too old to take ecstasy in a club and you know, touch
What was
yourself.
That's
Gustavo?
pussy shit. We do Molly now, bitch.
What was
Yeah.
Gus Fring's real name?
Gus Fring.
Some with the
Yeah,
actor?
the actor. Yeah. Esposito or
it's-
whatever.
Yeah.
Carlo Esposito.
Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah.
What I heard,
Thank you.
maybe I should double check this before I just spout it out like fact, but I heard that
No, it's fine.
was like-
You're an expert.
I heard that he was like on the verge of like literally committing suicide in his like elder like 30s or 40s. And something happened, and he ended up not, and then started getting acting roles and got on Breaking Bad, whatever it's called. But yeah, I mean, the point is, it's not too late, especially like
Dude,
if it's something you've always wanted to do.
Rodney Dangerfield was like a car salesman for years and years and years, and then
he got no
think
respect.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he built up that persona, like going over. It was like I don't think he started getting play as a comedian
yeah.
until-
So the history of
So
Rodney
he
Dangerfield
was
is
an
actually
elderly man.
amazing.
He
didn't
was
get
like
any.
he was like
He even tried
47,
to make
50
it as a
years
stand-up
old.
comedian for years and years and failed until one night he was so just fucking done with it. He turned to self-deprecating humor, and everyone started laughing. And it was like a light bulb moment for him. He's like, "Wait, if I just make fun of myself, people find me funny," and that became his shtick. Going like there, Rodney Dangerfield's an amazing story.
The part of the reason the "I get no respect" bit resonates so much is because it comes from a real place. I mean, it comes from a very real place. It resonates because it's true. And it's like for a long time, that's exactly what his life was, and it just happened to be that this is one of the funniest comedians to ever exist. I mean, he's still to this day, I think,
You
underrated.
don't need to say his
stand-up
whole name.
comedian.
If you just say, "Yo, my favorite comedian is Rodney," everyone knows what you're fucking talking
Yeah.
about.
I mean, but, like,
he's
people,
one of
I think
those
people
too,
underestimate
he's
his ability to
constantly-
joke.
He's never on these like top 10 like comedian lists, and it's like, what are you talking about?
It's insane. His joke telling ability is just top tier. I mean, he's one of the best guys for just an off the cuff joke. I mean, because he's one of the guys it's hard for people like him to switch off because they always, when you're that cynical, you see everything that way,
right?
And you can spin it. And he was such a high IQ individual when it came to comedy.
He was
so good.
And he's like, "I'll tell you, I was doing fine now. Last week I was in rough shape." And you're like, "Oh my god!" I was like,
Dude, I bet he sold a fuckload of cars. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, I guarantee you, he was probably he was happily married. He had kids and everything, and then like one day he just, and that's the opposite of like a Sam Kinison, where I guess like his wife left him, and he went in like this downward spiral, or like a Patrice O'Neill.
Well, Sam Kinison's story is also really wild. It's actually really, really sad, but we don't have time to get into it because I could.
We're about to wrap. We're about to wrap. This has been fun.
Well, you can only be told so many times you should do like me, for instance. I've never done stand-up comedy. I've been told that I should do it 100 fucking times, 100,000 times even. It's just like, okay, I'll put it on the list eventually. I prefer this instead, honestly. But yeah, the point is, it's never too late. It wouldn't be hard. I mean, it would be. It'd be a big part of luck, but I mean, it wouldn't be hard to just go try to do some auditions if you wanted to be an actor, or trying to pick up that instrument, or learning to cook, whatever the hell you wanted to do. Learn carpentry, especially nowadays with the internet. You could self-teach yourself so much nowadays. So, like learn to busy yourselves, learn to start bettering your lives with activities. Stop sitting on your ass all day.
And so this is why you would love stand-up, as someone who's been in bands probably as long as I have. When someone goes like, "Hey, can you do this on a Wednesday?" You don't have to go like, "Let me check with like 5 other people." You can just go, "Yes, yes, I can." It's great.
Yeah.
And on that note, we are going to wrap up for the evening. This one was substantially longer than my first news show. So this one we will wrap up. We just had a talkative panel of experts because there was just so much expertise to go around. So I just want to give everybody the opportunity to plug themselves off camera, of course. Leon, what you got going on?
Well, I'm about to hop on the Gooch's show, Late Night with the Gooch. So everybody should just go on over there from here.
Hop
It
right on
starts in
over.
11 minutes. It's going to be so. Go from one awesome, fun show to another. Thank you so much for bringing me on. Then tomorrow is Countercast. We have a great panelists. Sammy, I think you're one of them. 8-Bit Eric is going to be on. Then Tuesday is the live election show for Tinfoil Haters. Me and bro Sammy here. We have a massive panel as we monitor the election results as they come in. Also on Monday night, I'll be on Foxy Moxie's show for the second round of Saucy Rabble. And then on Wednesday, the Star Wars show on Gooch's channel. And Thursday, Moxie and I have our true crime show, that crime of the month. Basically, wild week. Let's fucking go. Thank you to everybody who got me to 6K subscribers yesterday. I got to bounce literally right now, so I'm so sorry I won't be able to outro or anything, but thank you so much for having me on. I love doing this show.
Anytime, brother.
Bye.
Your Highness, I'm sure you have a
Yeah.
lot of diplomatic things going on, especially I know this is your biggest season for the slaughter of your people.
Yes. Well, Halloween, thankfully, we made it through. We're gonna rise again. And granted, they'll probably kill us all again next year, but you know, we're gonna keep coming. We're gonna keep coming at you all, and we will outlast. But as for what I've got coming up, MMM tomorrow, we're gonna be talking about possibly the worst Christopher Nolan movie, Interstellar. We'll be discussing that one tomorrow, and let's see.
Dude, I have a friend who would absolutely, positively track you down and beat you senseless for saying that Interstellar is a bad movie or Christopher Nolan's worst movie.
Well, through every punch, I would tell him, "Tough, it's a bad movie."
My boy.
But well, Bush asked, no, I think Interstellar is worse than Tenet. Yes,
Really?
I do think it's a worse movie than Tenet.
I just think there was a point in time. There was a
But-
point in time where Christopher Nolan was like, "I really like it when characters talk like this."
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was kind of his first example of terrible sound mixing. But and here's the thing, I appreciate the ambition of both of those movies. I don't hate either one of them, but I do think both of them are bad films. But anyway, so yeah, we've got that coming up tomorrow. I actually am not positive if it's 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. because of the time change. I'll have to check with Cannoli on that. But if you go over to his page, the stream's up. You can see the time on it. And I am currently working on my next Poorly Explained video, which will be The Terminator.
By the way, those have been an absolute riot. If you guys aren't familiar with Gord's work, he does a much better version of my Crow review, which you can also check out. It's exactly how it sounds. He's running through the movie and it's poorly explained and it's hilarious the whole time. I loved what you've been doing with the Harry Potter movies. And I can't wait to see more. And Terminator just seems like prime pickings for that.
Yeah, that like the fun thing about doing the Terminator is it's actually doing a poorly explained for a good movie. Like, well, that'd be a good movie, a great movie. Like Harry Potter's a good movie, I would say, but Terminator's a great movie, but it's still been pretty fun.
By no means as culturally significant as the Terminator.
Yeah.
But also, last but not least, our beloved weatherman and friend of the channel, salsa expert. And also we'll be streaming later on tonight. So once you guys get done popping over to Gooch and Franz, please pop over to his channel because he is going to be talking about plenty of things and madness will ensue. Salsa expert Stu Penzo, plug yourself.
Well, I'm like I said, Tales from the Dork Side, Gooch After Party, midnight tonight, Central Standard Time. We'll be talking about the squirrel. We'll be doing a lot of squirrel memes. We'll be talking about the anticipation of the election. We'll also be talking about some various other funny things. Just having a good old time. And if you guys aren't familiar with the channel, it's a lot of Mystery Science Theater, EFAP movie style commentaries, a lot of perennial evergreen videos where we riff on movies. I did an 8-hour Goosebumps marathon. Sammy was on a few of those episodes. I did a few really terrible movies.
I snored.
The Monster Club was hilariously bad. I've got a bunch of horror movies in that catalog, 120 something movies so far that we've riffed. And I think next week, this Wednesday, it's going to be a fun little movie with Sean Astin called The Willies. We're still doing November horror all the way through November. So yeah, Willies, a fun anthology horror movie this Wednesday. Watching that in full with my buddy Dudicus. Fun times to be had for all. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you all after Gooch's channel on my show, Tales from the Dork Side. It's going to be fun. So if you guys are a bunch of night owls like I am, we'll see you there.
And that's going to wrap it up. That has been In Other News with SAMMY3PEAT. You can go many different places to get your news, but you chose to get it here. And I thank you very much. Be informed, be safe, and have a great night.
Woo!